Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of Cooking with Grief, the internet's only bereavement-based culinary podcast. That's in fact a complete lie. There is no cooking nor grief. I'm, of course, joined by my ever-present host, Chris.
Howdy.
How are you today?
I'm alright. I'm trying to bring howdy back into common parlance, and I'm wearing my lucky podcasting socks.
Well,
so
couldn't be better. I also would like to join you on your crusade to bring howdy back, because, I feel like we need to feel like we're living in the Old West.
yeah, I think it's just friendlier than a hi or a hello. It suggests a cheeriness to one's greeting,
Exactly.
even if I don't mean it.
Thank you.
No, I mean in general, not to you specifically. I hope you're well, and the howdy is genuine to you.
Good save.
But I mean, generally, when most people say hello, how are you, you think, oh God, just make it end. Or maybe I'm projecting.
So, welcome to the podcast.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Let's just run down the format for new listeners. Any listeners, please listen. Both of us have scoured the internet for topics, news articles, or anything else we've deemed worthy of sharing with each other and, by extension, you. We've each got 2 topics each, and neither of us have heard the others until the very moment it's revealed. So with that out of the way, over to you, Chris, to share with me your first, hopefully mind-blowing story.
So Chris, we've known each other quite a long time, and in all those years, as far as I know, you've never committed a murder. But my question for you is, if you were going to kill someone, how would you get away with the perfect murder? I don't know if it's something you've thought about before.
Well, I did see an episode of CSI once where somebody stabbed somebody with an icicle, and then the icicle melted, so they couldn't find the murder weapon.
What I'm glad you didn't say is involving glitter, because my first topic is, according to research done by the American Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, glitter apparently is so unique that it can be effectively used as forensic evidence if you find glitter at both the crime scene and on the suspect, which is admittedly a long shot.
I was going to say, unless there's been like a 80s themed disco murder or something, you're probably alright, aren't you?
Yeah, so it's a slim chance. It may be sort of a clown-based murder as a children's party, or if you ever get a birthday card and some idiot puts glitter in it, so when you open it and glitter goes everywhere, that makes me want to kill people just through...
There's actually a website that will send glitter to your enemies.
I did not know.
I don't know if they also murder people, but...
Well, half the job isn't bad. But yeah, so it's apparently... because although there are like loads of obviously sort of different commercially available types of glitter, that the exact composition of each is sort of different enough that you can it holds up in court apparently.
So this has actually happened. Like somebody's been arrested on the strength of the evidence of glitter.
Yep. They found particles of glitter at the a home during a break-in that escalated into an armed robbery and a moider, and then they found the same glitter on the sole of the suspect's shoe, and it was compelling enough to go to trial over.
I would have gone away for it too if it wasn't for the meddling glitter.
I know most murders are spur of the moment things. But even if you were planning it, like at no point in the film Seven, like everything is meticulously planned, but he was just scuppered by a shiny bit of, I don't even know what glitter is. It's just like foil bits in it. The person had to, have that disco ball installed in the bedroom, and you just happened to break it as part of the murder. And I've not really thought it through, but I imagine smashing a disco ball would definitely be part of the plan.
Disco's already dead, so you can't get arrested for that. My alternate was a Gary Glitter joke, but I decided to go away from that one.
Good. I'm glad that you sort of brought it up anyway in a defence of something you weren't going to say.
I wanted the credit for the fact that I didn't do some. But if you don't tell people that you didn't do it, nobody knows that you didn't do it. I just want approval, okay?
Hey, I want credit for this really inappropriate thing that I definitely didn't say, that I'm now saying in defence of me having not said it. It's not a thought crime. Yeah. I mean, is that why you picked the name Gary Glitter? Not to dwell on it too much, but
I I really don't want to dwell on it.
Right, okay.
I have no idea.
That seems fair enough. I'll move on.
I brought this up to say that I didn't do it, and then also decided I don't want to follow it any further.
See,
I'm not good at this.
Maybe this is just further proof that you shouldn't murder someone, because the next policeman you'll see just sidle up to them and going, "Guess who didn't commit a murder last night? This guy."
Definitely did not use any ice-based weaponry.
And he goes, "Oh, I like your sort of glittery shoes," and you go, and then run.
In my glittery shoes. It's
Your
quite an image.
You know,
Glittery heel, like disco heels.
I was thinking like
Something from The Simpsons. Like, Disco Stew is out of here.
All right, then as a bonus question, what would be the glitteriest piece of clothing you'd be willing to wear in public, socially, not for work? Would you go for like a no fielding sort of glittery silver jacket?
How about like an ABBA style glittery silver jumpsuit?
Yeah, just the full.
I don't know why I even brought that up. Because the answer's no. Honestly, I don't even think I'd stretch to a glittery tie. I'm not a glitter man, I'll be honest.
No,
Go on.
One of Marvel's.
What's your answer to this?
I don't know. I'm not a particularly glittery person either. Maybe just a nice sort of modest glittery tiara. Just something subtle, something understated, just
something regal,
something to bring out my eyes. Which
something to let everybody know that you are, the princess. Feel like the princess you are.
Yeah, I mean, I think hopefully I demonstrate a sort of inner princess rather than an external one, but yeah, maybe
it sort of bridges the gap.
Yeah, but a nice sort of jeweled, glittery tiara might go down well. That's probably the campest question I've ever asked, and it didn't really go anywhere, and there's probably a reason for that. So that's my first topic. How about yours?
So, Chris, what is the worst excuse you've ever used, either at work or way back when we were at school or anything? What's the worst, lamest excuse you've ever tried to use?
You once asked me if I wanted to see something invisible, and my excuse for believing you was I thought you were genuinely showing me something invisible, and you very disappointed to have to reveal I can't show you anything invisible. So that was probably one of the stupidest, and it's not quite an excuse, but it's definitely one of the times I felt most foolish.
Yeah, well, not as foolish as the Argentinian police officers who, basically, when half a ton of weed went missing from the evidence lockup, their excuse was that mice ate it.
Some very chilled out mice that collapsed in the break room and, put on some Lana Del Rey and ordered a pizza and were just blissing out.
Yeah, half a ton is quite a significant amount to try and insist that a 10 centimetre long animal ate. Yeah,
especially if it was like the next day as well. Like, they get the whole, they bring it in and they go, well, where's that half ton of weed? A mouse? Because that's a gut reaction. What, one mouse? No, probably multiple mice.
A herd of mice.
Yeah, just teams of mice. Just an absolute cavalcade of mice. That's the real crime here. How are all these mice getting in here?
Yeah, that's what we should focus on.
Yeah, that is. I mean that's the sort of, like when you're a kid and you've got to find an excuse for something, and it's always just like you can always see you looking around the room for ideas, and it is like, where's your homework? It was I dropped it. Where did you drop it? Dropped it in my dog, and the dog moved to Japan.
Sounds legit.
That's my classic go-to. Yeah, because I mean that's because no one's buying that, are they? Going.
Oh no, they've been sacked.
Yeah. What, and started
They got hold of-
an import-export business.
Yeah.
So have you got an example of a bad excuse you ever gave?
No, I don't think I've ever really
Tried to lie?
tried. Yeah, no, it's just I remember once. This wasn't even an excuse. I genuinely had left my homework in the locker. The teacher told me that wasn't good enough, and that I was, lying, and that I hadn't actually done it. I was just trying to get out of it, and I was like, no, literally, give me like 30 seconds and I can go to my locker and get it. It's literally like outside the classroom.
I can see it
like, down the corridor. And he was like, yeah, likely story. And I was just like, no, literally 30 seconds in no way long enough to do this entire homework. Just let me just go to my locker and pull it out. Yeah, no, so I should have thought of an excuse in that situation. And there was the time a teacher came in once when I hadn't done my homework, so I just hid under the desk until she went away.
I mean, that is a short...
Was a proud moment.
That's a short term... that's a sort of impulse, like, once you're under the desk going, I guess I live here now. I can't face the world.
Well, luckily, she wasn't actually teaching us that class, but she'd walked in, I think it was biology, and we had, like, two teachers, like, one for one, like half of the topic and one for the other, and she wandered in, and then I just sort of like hid under the desk until it looked like she'd gone away.
Because the thing is, at the time, you would have thought, oh God, I can't believe I got away with that. Whereas now that we're adults, we can look back and appreciate she walked in and saw you under the desk and went, I can't be bothered dealing with this idiot right now. I'm sure there's a good reason.
You're probably thinking that this story was when I was about 12, but I think I was 17 when this happened.
Oh, it was A-levels.
Yeah.
That is a lot weaker then.
I definitely should have known better.
Because that's the thing, is there's a plausible naivety to being a kid and making up excuses that's forgivable. When you're like genuinely old enough to know the repercussions, and especially it was like, I just haven't done this thing that I was supposed to do, then it makes being caught so much more pathetic. Like I remember once, again, I hadn't done my homework for A-level French, so I was 17 or 18 at this point, and I said, where's your homework? And I went, oh, put it in your pigeonhole yesterday. And he went, oh, I checked my pigeonhole just before. I must have missed it. Do you want to go grab it? And I thought, fuck. So I'm walking like round the other side of the school thinking, okay, I can plausibly say I had to also nip to the loo.
There was a pigeon in there and it's solid.
Yeah, it was an actual pigeonhole. But then you were thinking, I've got to walk somewhere knowing it's not in there because it's in my bag not done. And then I've got to stand awkwardly in front of a pigeonhole and pretend, like, I don't know, what am I going to do? I must
pretend you're looking for it.
Yeah, and then you go walk back and went, oh, I must have gone, or I dropped in my dog and it moved to Japan. Like, you went, oh, Chris, you've made that excuse for how many Japanese, dogs have you got? But it's just at that moment, it's think, why there's such a pathetic lie to have to own up to as a 7 or 18-year-old. Yeah. You're just thinking,
especially because by that stage it's like you understand that it's your future that this is affecting, but you're still like,
yeah, it doesn't. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. But it's just like, well, you want to. I assume you want to be here because you're doing your A levels. It's not like you don't legally have to be here. And I assume you must have liked French because you picked it for A level. So just like. And now you just say, I'm really sorry to get time to it. Is it at all possible if I do it tonight and get it to you tomorrow? They'd probably say, yeah, that's fine. Like, don't do it during the lesson. Like, go to them before the lesson starts and just say, look, I'm really sorry, blah, 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 blah. And they'll go, absolutely, no problem. But to bullshit your way through it and go, oh, no, yeah, I did it. Yeah, my voice always sort of raises like this. Yeah, no, you blind man, you just must have missed it in your pigeonhole. And then go, okay, go get it. Like, you're not meant to call me out on my bluff. That's just let me lie badly. Yeah. If you then kick off going, how dare you call me on that? You think, You think I'd just make up that I hadn't done my homework? How dare you, sir? How dare you? I'm going to go, and then you just have to walk out of school and never return. Just go, well, I can't go back there now.
That'd be the worst way to leave. Yeah, in the bus, it's just, I feel too awkward to go back. I threw away my entire future because I felt awkward for one afternoon.
But at least I've never blamed a half a ton of weed going missing on a mouse, a very sort of blazed mouse.
So yeah, that's my first topic. Back to you, Chris.
Okay, so topic 2. My question is: have you ever seen a doppelganger of yourself?
Of myself. Actually, I did used to work with somebody and we looked eerily similar, to the point where even my brother was like, "There's a guy who works with you," and I thought it was you for a second.
This week I learnt about doppelgangers, that according to German folklore, where the word comes from, doppelganger meaning double goer, originally it's not someone who looks like you, but instead, at the moment of just before death appears to you as yourself. So it means you're about to die, because obviously it's a German folklore, which means it has to be incredibly dark and bleak. So if you read any of the sort of old German folklore that became like, they were adapted into like Grimm's fairy tales and then later like Disney and stuff, then they always have like really bleak endings.
Yeah, the Germans aren't a happy people, are they?
And they've probably even got a succinct 45-letter word to mean, you know, a bleak fairy tale. But yeah, so they're not people who just happen to look like you. They're the ghosts of yourself, like a special apparition version of yourself, and you see yourself as death, and then you die.
Did you die when you saw your doppelganger?
No, I just saw a sort of a chubby white dude with a beard.
Myth busted.
Yeah, I wasn't presenting a scientific fact going, but how can explain this? Yeah,
the Germans are always right.
No, you just saw a chubby white dude with a beard. The reason I wanted to talk about it is because, speaking of people who look like you, I wanted to tell the story that, Chris and I, we went to school together, but then we also went to the same gym. And after school one day, I went to the gym and I saw someone getting changed and who had their back turned to me. In that moment, I was convinced it was you, so I jumped on what I thought was your back, which admittedly is a weird thing to do even if it was you, but it turned out not to be you. And I had to apologise and climb off a stranger. Say, I'm so sorry, I thought you were someone I knew. Like, well, even if you knew him, why would you jump on their back?
I remember you text me, I think, saying something like, I just jumped on you in the gym, and I was like, pretty sure you didn't, because I'm not in the gym. And you were like, yep.
Well, actually, to go back to your early question of what's the worst excuse you ever given someone, that's not bad to explain why you just jumped on a stranger's back while they were getting changed at the gym. You said, I'm really sorry, I thought you were someone else. That doesn't explain anything. If anything, it raises more questions.
The thing is, though, with my lookalikes, I think it's just people's... I've been compared to so many people who don't look anything alike that I'm starting to think that maybe I don't look like a single one of them, and people are just being
racist.
Racist is the wrong word, but yeah, just like, you all look the same to me. It's like Barack Obama, Sean Paul, Ludacris.
I mean, to be fair, particularly at school when we had to wear a suit, you did look like a young Obama. I think objectively,
that one did last the longest. There was the time some people asked for a photo because they thought I was Drake, and I was just like, why would Drake be waiting at a bus stop in Manchester? Like, it's a long shot that it was going to be Drake.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're going for a similar colour scheme. I don't know if that's the right phrase. It's not like someone go like
colour wheel,
like a burnt sienna. Would that be a Dulux? Yeah. But it's not like they stopped you and went, are you Genghis Khan? Like any person of colour, you know what I mean? Like,
actually, I did once, like at university. I'd known this guy for about 6 months, and we're on the same course, and we hung out like our group of friends like every day. And after about 6 months, he made a joke about Chinatown, and he was like, where you live? And I was like, what? And he was like, because you're Chinese? And I was like, no. He's like, Thai, Vietnamese, or like Jamaican. It's like, oh, I completely misread that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's. I know this is an audio medium, but like, trust me, Chris doesn't look at all Chinese because he's not Chinese. It's,
Yeah.
when I lived in China, there was a guy that sold fruit outside our uni campus, and every day he would run up to me and hug me and try to lift me up, but just sort of jiggle my belly and go, go, "White Buddha."
I love how he's doing it every day, and like to him, it never lost its like appeal.
Yeah, it was a delightful, if baffling, way to start the day. You know, you go to your morning classes and think, "Oh, and I'll buy some, go and buy some fruit," and just to be gently jiggled.
Maybe he thought he was lucky.
Well, that's it. They rub either the Buddha's belly or the forehead sometimes. So maybe he was just thinking, I can't take any chances. Maybe, the Buddha reincarnated as this, confused white dude who happened to stumble out. But that was very strange. Didn't see many doppelgangers when I was living there, to be honest. But
what were they like though? Because I know your friend who is Jamaican. Obviously, I'm only part Jamaican. But you had your friend who went with you at that time. Like, how did they react to him? Because isn't he also, if I recall correctly, he's also very tall.
Yeah, so he's like 6'4" and built like the brickiest of brick shit houses.
Yeah, so he didn't exactly blend in, I imagine.
I could always find him, like pack train. You get separated. Oh, there he is. I mean, I don't want to speak to. I don't want to speak for anyone else's experience. I think you get stared at sometimes, but it's always I found done. It was never aggressive. It was always friendly. I mean, he got stared at more than other people, and people, stopping it, demand he take a photo with them. But yeah, I think it's
more curious than
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not
like racist.
Yeah, it was never hostile. It was just like oh, you look different. Can I have a photo? And yeah, there was something charming about it. I mean, obviously, like centre of Beijing, like there was loads of foreigners. Like even then, like it was nearly 10 years ago now. But
God, we're old.
I was so old. I nearly stopped myself. Is it a couple of years ago? No, it wasn't a couple of years ago. You've been squandering nearly a decade since then. But no, it was always well intentioned. But then you go, when we went travelling and you go to some really rural places, then there was an air of suspicion, or at least, or not suspicion. That's harsh. Just unfamiliarity, I guess. No, I always felt welcomed. Always felt safe. I just on the to get back to the topic of sort of folklore gone weird. There's The Hunchback of Notre Dame was adapted from an old story, I think. If I'm correct, then in the original, like it ends with like Quasimodo like burying himself alive in the woman's coffin and like starving to death because he can't. But it's like really dark, and there's like loads of things like that. Like,
it's dark.
Like Cinderella.
Well, apparently in that one, the original one, the ugly stepsisters literally cut their feet or cut their toes off trying to fit it in.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Trying to fit their foot in.
Like there's old like kid story. I suppose they're all kid stories, but they're all cautionary tales where like the lesson to be learned is obedience or death.
I read one. I can't remember which. This is going to be the vaguest one ever. It might be the Krampus, actually. The Germanic
like Christmas
one. Yeah, but it's basically, if you're not good at Christmas, if you're not good during the year, then instead of getting presents, an apex predator will hunt you down. It's just like that sure beats being on Santa's naughty list. It's like literally we'll send a murderous kill beast after you.
I mean, it's an interesting interpretation of predator. Arnie just been a very naughty boy, and the sort of well-equipped, Krampus.
Santa's elf.
But yeah, so even the the modern folklore of just someone you see who looks like you, even that originally came from a story that death stalks you as.
Just imagine how bleak life must have been, where just like coming home and be like, oh, it's really weird today. I saw a guy in the market who looked just like me, and somebody being like, means you're gonna die. Yeah,
it's like, shut up, stop being so bleak. Yeah. All right then. How about this? If death appeared to you, like if death had to appear before your eyes before you die, what would you want it to look like? If like death manifested physically.
Oh, I don't know, like Kurt Russell. just Kurt Russell. Be like,
and you go,
be like, it's the end of the road, kid. And then that's it.
What were his last words? He said, "Oh, Kurt Russell, what are you doing here?" And then he died. I mean, it'd be nice to go out. Died as he lived, just slightly bemused and fantasizing about Kurt Russell.
Yeah, no, that works for me. I have no regrets with that answer.
No, that's
Go on.
good. Oh, what would I pick?
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be nice. I mean, I think it depends. If you've lived a long life, then it'd be nice to pass away if like death was a sort of nice kindly old woman who was nice and said, I brought you a brew, it's all going to be fine, we're just going to pass on to the other side. But if it's more
I brought you a brew, it's poisoned.
Yeah, it turns out that's not death at all, it's just a murderous old woman.
Yeah. That's just murdering Margaret from next door.
Covered in glitter she was.
Yeah.
But if it's like, I don't know, a more sort of action film sort of death, maybe like an animated rabbit who's very, very vulgar, just a charming,
So like a not X-rated, that would be wrong, but R-rated Bugs Bunny.
yeah, just like, not pornographic, just
No.
yeah, just
That would be bizarre.
just he died as he lived, getting fucked by a rabbit. A cartoon rabbit? What do you mean? I've got so many questions. How is he?
What do you mean, has he lived?
Yeah. I mean, we'll come to that. But how did it kill him? Like, did it fuck him to death? It's a cartoon.
Let's not go into that.
You see, this is how bleak folklore happens, because people are riffing and no one goes, what do you mean death appears as you? Yeah, this is just the modern version of that.
Yes. I am sure one day children are going to be told to be a good child or death will appear as a rabbit and kill you.
Like, what Krampus is to Father Christmas, then our rabbit is to the Easter Bunny.
Yes. There we go. And we have a new film pitch. We're getting good at this.
Are we?
No, wait, no, we're not. So I take that back.
No, I don't want to stand in a room.
We're increasing in volume at this.
Yeah, but volume isn't always good. I don't want to sell a pitch that involves the phrase "fucked to death" by a cartoon rabbit. Call me picky.
This Easter.
Coming in you soon. He'll go at it like himself. Thumper, no!
Stop. Stop before we break a law. I don't know what law.
Just
I assume
moral
Warner
laws.
Brothers will turn up and be like, don't you dare disrespect Bugs Bunny like this.
What are we doing? So that was the second of my two topics this week. One more left. Chris, what have you got?
Okay. I'm going to start with a question.
As always.
What sort of music have you been listening to recently? As in, like, has it been happy, sad?
They're the two main emotions. Whimsical, Happy, sad, whimsical. I mean, I pretty much only listen to bleak music.
Oh, well, see, this could be an issue, though, for us all. No pressure. But the Bank of England's chief economist has urged his colleagues to start using people's Spotify playlists and downloads as a way of measuring the economy, or even using it to predict what might happen next.
God, is that how tenuous sort of the basis of our economy is going? Look, are they listening to, I don't know, what's
Taylor
sort
Swift.
of popping? Yeah, so if you listen to Taylor Swift, then the economy's going fine, everything's upbeat. I don't know, I'm not as familiar with Taylor Swift's music as perhaps I ought.
No, I think you're exactly as in touch with Taylor Swift's music as you ought to be. But they've worked, a university has done a study where they worked out, they sort of broke down songs by what sort of emotion, they're sort of projecting. And they broke it down not just into happy and sad, but there was also trust and somehow surprise. I'm really not sure how many songs have to do with surprise. And then they mapped that against the stock market and to see if there was a correlation. And they found out there was. If people are listening to happy music, they're actually generally spending more. And, when they're listening to sad things, they're going to spend less. And it's literally got to the stage now where the Bank of England are thinking this could be our best way of predicting stuff.
See, the problem is, I find in, the sadder I am, the more likely I am to make impulse purchases because I want to fill the sort of emotional void with materialistic things. You think, oh, I've been listening to Nick Cave for the past 3 days in a row. I feel empty inside. I need to buy a takeaway pizza,
a gun,
and some more sad music. I mean, that's a little bleak. I'd have to go, I don't know, Dakota Sweet for that sort of bleakness. But whereas I find when I'm happiest is when you're sort of more content and you feel the need to buy things less. I don't know. I know I don't know enough about either music or the economy, or in fact just human behaviour to...
Yeah, well, it says here, people tended, after the crash in 2008, people tended to listen to less songs that were to do with trust and started listening to more angry songs about being betrayed.
But also, is it not completely dependent on what music gets released? So if they're analysing, say, Spotify and Everything Hurts by R.E.M. starts coming back in the charts, then okay, then that's a sign that maybe people are feeling down. I know it's not like the whole economy is going to be based on following one song.
Yeah. It's the end of the world and we know it and be like, oh, panic!
The majority of streams come from what's in the mainstream and what's popular, and, we're in summer, so there's a lot of sort of happy-go-lucky summer, pop hits being released, because more music gets released in the summer than it does in the sort of winter. Then that's not a necessarily reflection that the economy's doing better. It means that there is a market for upbeat 3-minute pop hits about tonight being an excellent night.
Have you ever considered writing pop music? Tonight is an excellent night.
Well, I mean, to me, all that all that music, it just sounds like it was written by a microwave, and particularly at uni, you couldn't get away from stuff like that, and it was just there's such an emphasis in all those songs about one opportunity for happiness, tonight you're gonna get get drinks and to a club, and they're gonna be people there, and it's I want more specific songs, more realistic songs at least. Tonight is going to be fine. The party's going to be a 4 out of 10 party, but you take enough.
I thought you meant more realistic. Tonight is going to be a microwave meal night.
Tonight is a sad wank in the bath sort of night. I feel like I might have overshared there.
Yeah. TMI.
Especially. Don't do it in the bath. Well, at least the shower sort of drains everything away. It's the bath, you're just sitting in your own shame.
Oh, can you believe it? We got to the final topic without mentioning semen, and we're back. Honestly, if you're still listening to this, it's your fault. You have only yourself to blame.
I feel we are partly responsible.
Nope. if there's anything I've learned from recent politics, is that refusing to take responsibility is everybody's right.
Okay. I know I'm saying this as someone who's just said the phrase wanking in the bath, but if we can stay away from some topics like politics, that might be, I know I've got no leg.
We don't want to offend anybody, so let's just go back to wanking in the bath. And getting fucked to death by a cartoon rabbit.
It's a hell of an election slogan. Back to the music thing. I don't know if it's that prescriptive, is it? I mean, I know it's just like one study at one university, but it seems so. Is there from the research in the article you read? Is there really that close of a link?
Apparently, there's as good a correlation as any, because it's to do with what do you call it, consumer confidence, and so it's basically when you have enough data, and now because obviously as we've seen recently, companies on the internet are storing a shit ton of data on their customers. You have enough customers, you can do some sort of big statistical analysis, and you can track these sort of changes. So
if I wanted to break into the music industry, I could sort of reverse engineer it so that in good times I release optimistic music, and then in fallow times I switch to a minor key.
Yeah, that could well work.
Okay, I just need to learn what optimism is first.
Although sometimes it goes the other way, and when it's like all that stuff in the 80s that was like superficially sounded really happy, and then it turns out it was about like potential nuclear war on the horizon. 99 Red Balloons, or oh shit, what's that song called? Where it's like the one they sing with football ones. It's like da 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 da.
I don't know, but I enjoyed it very much.
Oh, that's also about the end of the world.
Right.
Yeah, there's loads of them.
But so it's the end of the world as we know it, and that's quite upbeat.
Well, yeah, but that's because he feels fine.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, sorry. I wonder if he still feels fine. I wonder if Michael Stipe and the gang are still feeling fine. I hope so. I hope they're doing well since disbanding. But maybe that's another topic for another time.
Yes.
The cutting room floor when I edit this.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, what's interesting is that the reverse doesn't tend to happen. Like, you don't get a really bleak sounding song, but the lyrics are actually like, I've never been more in love. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't work the other way around. Whereas something like Love Will Tear Us Apart, it's quite upbeat musically, but lyrically, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's true. Don't know, maybe it just doesn't. Maybe you have to trick people into listening to it by being like, this is a happy song, and then you slide your negativity in there, whereas it don't work the other way because, people are like, this song's sad. I don't want to be sad.
Or if they're looking for sad music, then they don't want to be tricked into accidental happiness.
Yeah, leave me alone to wallow in my misery.
See, I really like wallowing music, and not because I seek that. Well, I suppose I do seek it out, but I don't know, it's just always been the music I'm drawn to. To give credence to your article, then I am financially destitute as well as emotionally poor. So maybe there is something to this. I need to listen to more Earth, Wind and Fire and less sort of electro shock blues era Eels. Even though I happen to think it's the greatest album of all time, and my paychecks will start getting thicker.
Yeah, that's how it works. You listen to happy music and your boss is like, I'm going to give this guy more money.
Yeah, well, maybe, you go in whistling, you listen to Gladys Knight on the way to work, you appear in a better mood, think, oh, Chris is a nice employee to have around. Let's give him 10 extra p over minimum wage.
Yeah, that could be it. It's worth a try.
And I treat myself to a nice sparkly tiara, and then I just shine. Oh, fuck, that means I've got to keep that in now. I've doomed myself.
Doomed, I tell you. To be fair, I think we're done.
Just professionally.
Yeah. So, yep, that's my two topics done for today. And that's us done for today. As always, thank you for listening. We hope you'll join us again next time. And until then, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me. What's the opposite of howdy? Is there a howdy for goodbye, or do we need to introduce that one as well if we're bringing howdy back?
Yeehaw.
That's yeah. What's howdy backwards? It'd be day hop. How about day hop?
Yeah, good luck with that.
So it's day hop from me.
And I'm just gonna stick with goodbye. Thank you.
Coward.
Hey, that's fighting talk in the Old West.
Howdy, partner. And now day hop.
Bye.
We really need to find an outro.
Yeah, we probably should. Until then, shall we hit stop?
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cooking with Grief. If you enjoyed it, make sure to recommend it to a friend. And if you hated it, then please recommend it to your worst enemy. If you'd like to get in touch, you can email us cookingwithgrief@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter, that's @cookingwithgrief, with no G on cooking, because we're cool. It'd be great if you subscribe to our channel, that way you'll never miss a new episode. And we'd love to get your feedback, so please leave a comment below telling us all about the things we got wrong. Thank you, Internet. We welcome your indifference and or vitriol.